Let's head down. Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Indianapolis. Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Randy Bueller, and it looks like we've got Ray Perez here.
Yep.
Facing off against Christopher Morgan. And these players are both, well, actually they're not. One of them's at 11-1-1, and the other one's at 11-2. Ray's at 11-2 here with his Esper Tokens build.
Yeah, if Christopher can win this match, he's probably in the top 8.
Even with a loss.
12-2-1. He'll be 12-1-1 with 1 round to go. So worst case is 12-2-1 for him at that point. 12-2-1 is going to be where the bubble is.
Okay.
If everybody takes every available intentional draw, we will definitely see some 12-2-1s miss. There's like maybe 10 or 11 people that can get to that level. What that means is that in the last round, not the ones with the bad tiebreakers will probably play rather than draw, and we'll get some sort of cleanish cut. So
okay,
getting to 12-2-1 is probably going to be good enough. Certainly gets you into the tiebreaker scrum, if nothing else.
And so that's going to be relevant for Ray Perez here as well, as with the win hit. Put him at 12-2 and set him up for a potential draw in the last round.
Yeah, it'll set him up for, where are my tiebreakers?
Yeah, a lot of reading.
Can I draw? How many people are going to draw? Worst case, with a win here, he earns a win it in. Might be able to draw.
Now we see
Ray's breakers are pretty good, so if anybody's going to get to draw, it is actually Ray Perez. So let's just call it a win it in. Close enough. And a Fenza.
I see a Silk Wrap comes off the top of the library there for Ray. Now Ray's on this deck that we've seen a little bit here.
The Fabrizio and Terry deck.
Yeah, and we're calling it Esper Tokens because it does run some blue spells out of the sideboard, but if you look at the deck as a whole, it's a lot more in the black-white tokens realm.
Yeah, it's a black-white main deck entirely. Sideboards, some permission because you kind of wind up with these Prairie Streams and Sunken Hollows in your deck anyway just to make the fetch lane, battle lane mana work for an enemy color pair. And yeah, the deck, Fabrizio and Terry put it together, tuned up a list, got second in the Magic Online Monthly Championship last weekend, the Mocks. We've seen probably half a dozen of the GP regulars are running it this weekend. Most of them are having at least some success with it.
This is going to be a nice turn for Ray. You see, he almost played a hangerback walker, but that will come down this turn most likely, though. He's going to prefer to go ahead and get the mana advantage off of a card that has really had a good weekend so far.
Definitely.
Knight of the White Orchid.
Both in this deck and also in the Bant Megamorph deck. Sort of Brad Nelson style Megamorph list. Love this card. Both of those lists are making very good use of it. And we are seeing a fair amount of Obzon at the top of the standings as well.
Yeah, it was the most popular deck coming into day 2 here. Wow, he's going to cash that one in for an emblem right now. Probably has another in his hand. Yeah, that's what it usually means. Attack for 3.
Would you like to trade both your creatures, Ray Perez? Christopher Morgan offers you an exchange.
So Ray's trying to figure out, okay, I'll make this block, that happens, but then what's the follow-up from Christopher Morgan, and can I deal with that? And he's going to have to figure out what Chris is up to. He decides not to block.
Yeah, I don't think you want that trade.
I don't think so either. Even with Gideon to follow up, it's not the end of the world for you, though. Facing down 2 3/3s is going to be problematic. I think the 3/3 is really nice here for Chris. Currently holding off Ray Perez in entirety here. Now, if Ray has an answer for the untapped token, though, another Silk Wrap or something, Gideon's dead. Yeah, it looks like he found an utter end here.
I mean, Gideon only takes 3 from Ray's creatures, so Ray's going to have to utter end the Gideon,
Oh,
not
sorry.
the token.
Yeah. No, you're right. I thought the hangerback was on 2. My bad. So that means that Ray is going to have to use utter end on Gideon itself here.
Can't really even attack into the 3/3.
No, not at all. So he's just going to pass the turn back as Ray. He's got a couple of mana up and a hanger back, but in the meantime, Chris Morgan just leveraging this emblem here. 2 3/3s coming at you, Ray.
Now the double block's a little more attractive because of mana to pump the hanger back.
Right.
Is that Ray suggesting and ordering? Moving the hanger back forward and the knight. It's funny.
This works out really well.
Other ordering.
This works out well for Ray.
Christopher says, I'm ready to let you kill your hanger back.
Ray's fine with that as well. He's going to get a couple of tokens out of the deal. He's going to take 3 damage in the exchange, and it looks like there's a Siege Rhino for the follow-up play. There it is. But yeah, I think Ray was okay with that exchange. That emblem's doing serious work here, though.
Attention, new legacy players.
5/6 Siege Rhino anyone?
Yeah, Trampler.
I think Ray has a Sorin
He
that
does.
he's been trying to sort of set up here.
Well, you can try to change this into some type of damage raise.
It's 4
really
power
have-
lifelink in the air doesn't
Yeah.
actually win the race.
16. He goes up to 12.
He's a 3 power first striker on defense if he does that, which is nice.
That's true.
So only the Rhino can attack. But the Rhino can attack and kill Sorin.
Take a look at Ray as he tries to figure out how to handle this next turn. He's got a smile on his face. I like that.
Okay.
Ah.
Decides for 1 attacking Thopter.
The
1
plot
on
thickens.
defense.
Yeah, just going to get the raid going with that 1 Thopter. Fire off this Wingmate Rock Ship to turn back to Chris, who's got, I believe, Land Den Protector in his hand. Finds a ward on the first tree off the top of his library here. Let's not forget that Shambling Vents sitting down there in Chris Morgan's mana as well.
Yeah, Siege Rhino turns sideways. Of course it does. Even 5/6, Ray could theoretically do some massive block.
Yeah.
The problem is if he takes the
double
full,
block.
well, if he takes the full 5, he's in Siege Rhino range. So he's very incentivized to block, at least to soak up a point of trample. And if you're going to do that, sure. Move in. What you got, Christopher? Some sort of Dromoka command fueled blowout?
This does protect Ray from any one of his creatures dying here. Still going to kill the Rhino. Losing the Wingmate Rock is annoying here, though. Just as it does represent life loss, basically.
And even a Dromoka's command would not have saved the Rhino.
Right. But he's not too sad to have that Rhino in the yard, because now he can get it back with that Den Protector. Traded it off for a valuable card from Ray as well. And there's Warden on the first tree. He's going to make that a 3/3 on end step. So pretty clean play here from Christopher Morgan as far as using up his mana, deploying threats, getting a little card advantage going. Ray, on the other hand, is close to stabilizing. And he's going to be in a tough spot here.
Yeah, he's got nothing that can block the Den Protector right now. Den Protector just flips. It's 4 power thanks to the Gideon emblem.
Right.
So Ray can't block it. Make a Gideon emblem of his own.
Yeah. Fight
Make
fire
a
with fire.
Sorin.
That works too.
We've got just 2 spots open left in a modern mod. If you want to play modern with a bunch of other people,
There you go.
Sorin is the blind.
Could actually attack here if he wanted.
Sorin
Get
does
in
tick
for
up.
9. Put himself up to 17. Kind of interesting.
players participating in our 2 p.m. seal event. Come
Just the bird.
the bird.
Take 4. I go to 12. You go to 15.
Players participating in our 1 o'clock modern event. Your round 2 pairings are now posted.
So it looks like Christopher's deciding if he wants to flip the den protector or put a counter or put a level up the warden of the first tree here. Don't know how much it matters which one he chooses. I suppose the den protector is a better. Oh wow, yeah. Well, now I found out why it mattered.
It matters.
So that's brutal. Jeez, Ray could not slam that murderous cut on the table quickly enough.
Wow.
After Morgan tapped on the warden, he's like, boom, kill that in response.
And then Ray politely hands a die over to
That's
him.
huge. Yeah, Chris has to fire that off that the other way around there.
Yes.
Brutal. Sigh of relief from Ray. That might be the opening he needs to actually win this game.
Yeah, it was gigantic. I mean, having the cut means he wasn't going to accidentally die to Den Protector. Oh, now this is a... Okay, it's a 4-4 Warden attacking into the 3-3 first striking Knight.
And the 2-1 flyer.
So
And
it's a 2-for-1 trade where Ray's going to gain 5 life. Although... Does Christopher's mana let him pump 6 into Warden?
well, he has to be at the next level.
Oh,
to
he's not
get
at the
to
next
6.
level. Yeah, you're right. All right,
I
so
think
massive
Ray's okay
trade.
with that too, because that warden's a major issue as the game goes longer. Oh,
Has another Rhino.
he just had another Rhino. He must have just drawn it. Not a bad draw step, Siege Rhino. But I think these sequences have gone slightly in Ray's favor
Oh,
each time,
completely agree.
except for the cut, which was heavily in Ray's favor.
Yeah, I thought Ray was in trouble last turn.
Me too.
But yeah, the timing on the Den Protector and he had the Murderer's Cut and the Den Protector got no value. That was gigantic.
Now he has a Gideon emblem. Excuse me, a Gideon Planeswalker, and he can cash it in. He can start making knights. He still has Sorin. And he's at 17.
Neither of those Planeswalkers answers a Siege Rhino. I mean, just the body on the creatures. Pretty good on this board. So Ray's going to go Ally Token and Sorin ticks up. Everybody's playing defense.
No attack.
I guess if Gideon gets enough time, he kind of answers the Siege Rhino. Sufficiently many allies.
I wonder if Christopher has actual attacks here.
It's a 5/6 Siege Rhino
Yeah.
thanks to the emblem.
Guess he just has to threaten Planeswalkers with it.
I mean, Ray gets to trade.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see. The 3/3 emblem is going to get somebody. So
The
If-
token.
the token, Christopher's token, probably gets through. Seems like Ray wants to double block Siege Rhino here.
He did leave his team back for
5,
this
6.
purpose.
I mean, he's got 7 power he can put in front of the Siege Rhino. 7 power lifelink. And it's, what, 6 toughness, so no trample damage. Yeah, I think you double block Siege Rhino. Take the token. I mean, if Christopher has a trick,
Yeah, if he's got Obs on Charm or something.
yeah, that's what Ray's worried about. So if you knew you would get away with the double block, I think he would happily double block and take down the Rhino. He's just worried, like, what is Christopher holding?
Also, what is the Rhino attacking?
Yeah, I am also curious. Ally block doesn't make sense. Oh, it is. It's a 3 power token because of the Sorin, so it is actually a trade.
He's playing around something here because the bird could just gobble up that token. Doesn't have to trade,
True.
but he decides to instead. All right,
Siege Rhino was attacking Sorin, but it was only for 5.
and not quite lethal.
Oh, it's a morph creature for Christopher Morgan.
Assuming that's a Den Protector.
Same.
Yeah, that's a huge deal at this point. Even though Ray has now worked his way all the way back up to his starting life total.
Huh.
Emblem. Emblem plus beats.
Christopher's down to 6 now.
He's down to 5 now,
Wow.
right? That was 5 damage you just did? Yeah,
Right.
1 turn clock. Get you. And raise it 25.
Den Protector for Den Protector.
I don't know if that's going to work for Christopher here.
Uh-uh.
He's facing way too many lethal threats. That playing the grind game is not going to get the job done.
Yeah, he's got to kill multiple birds.
Yeah, I mean, normally that is the play you'd make in the middle part of the game because it just nets you so much card advantage and so many threats. But at this point, I don't think he has the tempo available to him. He just doesn't have enough mana to cast flip.
It's not like
do
there's a better
anything.
choice in his graveyard, though. What's he going to get? Just random Siege right now?
I mean, does that at least keep him alive? No.
No.
Well, I guess if nothing does, then it just doesn't matter at all what he gets. It's a little sad for Christopher Morgan fans, but it might be his truth here. Chris Morgan, who are you attacking? And is it
Seems
going
to
to
me
work?
the Den Protector attacks Gideon. It's unblockable because it's 4 power. Oh, no, it is blockable because the emblem pumps up the Wingmate rocks.
That's right.
Everything is just like there were no emblems in terms of blocking.
Now, those birds won't, though, be getting the pump from Soren, right? Because they weren't on the battlefield when he plussed it.
Correct.
Irrelevant.
Ray points out, I'm killing you with these flyers next turn, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, you are.
And Chris
Go
says,
to game
yeah,
2.
dead in a doornail. All
Wow,
right.
and that looks like a match slip on the back table between Brad Nelson and Scott Kirkwood. Who won
Whoa.
that? Who won that match?
Slugfest. Based on body language, I'm going to say Scott, but I'm not 100% sure.
Was it the match? Didn't it look like they had the match slip in front of them?
It sure did.
I don't have an update. Scott Kirkwood.
Scott wins 2-0.
2-0. That is Brad Nelson's 3rd loss.
Daggers.
He's 11-2 from, what was he, 4-2? Maybe 5-2.
He had 2 very early losses, yeah.
2 very early. I think he had to rattle off 3 to make day 2. I think he was 4-2. Now, rattled off the 3, rattled off 4 more, found himself playing what was probably a win in. He was probably going to be able to draw in with a win there, but
Jeez.
instead it will be Scott Kirkwood going up to the standings to try to see if his tiebreakers will allow him an intentional draw in the final round.
Super tough for Brad Nelson. I mean, we're so used to just seeing him in the top 8 and the top tables of these standard GPs specifically.
I wanted to see Scott Kirkwood's deck on camera. You know what Scott Kirkwood has in his deck?
What is he running?
Scythe Leopards.
Whoa, aggressive.
Scythe Leopard, Snapping Gnarlid. It's basically the landfall version of the aggro red deck, right? It's still the Combo Men, Steamer Battle Rage, Titan Strength combo deck, Tarkus Command. But instead of any of the Goblin shenanigans, there's no Hordling Outburst, there's no Dragon Fodder. What you have are green creatures. You have creatures that do not die to Surge of Righteousness. And usually this deck runs a little more land. What's his land count? Yeah, he's on 24 lands, including 4 basic forests because, yeah, your 1-drops in addition to the Swift Spear are 4 Scythe Leopards. Yeah, it's definitely an alternate take on the Atarka Red deck. Atarka Red's numbers continue to be higher. I think in day 2 here was something like 8 Atarkas and 4 landfalls. And I mean, I'm saying Atarka. This deck does also run Atarka's Command.
Mhm.
I don't have a better name for the mostly red version. But yeah, we may get to see that in the top 8 now.
Cool.
Scott Kirkwood has gotten himself the Magic 12th win. 12-2-1 is where the line is going to be. Most of the 12-2-1s will get in. Maybe all of them. Maybe some, the bad tiebreaker players won't be able to draw in the last round. We'll see what happens. But yeah, Brad Nelson not going to make this top 8 now. play out the last round for the 3 pro points, though.
Now, no updates, but our turbo match has Chapin in it.
Sure.
And is he playing a winning in back there?
Yes. He's on 34.
Yeah,
so he's
that's
playing
right.
a win to get to, what is it, 12-1-1, where he could even lose the last round, and he still got the magic 37 points.
Yeah, his opponent, Daniel Duan, is also on 34.
Right. Pretty clean win and in scenario for those two.
Okay, so we'll catch up to that after we get our main matches sorted out here. It looks like we've even moved over one of our tables under the camera so we can keep an eye on that. These guys have taken a long time with sideboarding. They got to be careful.
A little careful. Yeah, the match we've moved up is Robert Vaughan and Brent Clawson, both of whom are on 11 and 2, both of whom have reasonable tiebreakers. So it's another win and check the standings and hope you can draw in. What are those guys running? Pat's opponent is on Obzon. Yeah, the 2 guys we just moved up include an Obzon player and another Fabrizio deck. Esper tokens. There's 2 Esper tokens still in contention here. At
Wow,
the
that
end.
deck must really have something to it.
Yeah,
Not that
only-
many people running
Like half
it.
a dozen-ish
Mhm.
on day 2.
All right, well, we are underway in game 2 here. Ray Perez kicked things off with a Plains, passes the turn back to Christopher, who's going to find Smoldering Marsh with wooded foothills. Just what it was designed to do. Interesting. So he almost cracked that. I think that Christopher was actually just considering running out a Den Protector there on 2 because he's got Anafenza in his hand. He's got a lot of action for going forward here. The sad Knight of the White Orchid for Ray.
Turn 2 does not make value. Gotta wait for turn 3, play it before you drop your land. But Ray obviously has plans for turn 3 that do not involve getting a land, Knight of the White Orchid.
Oh, no land off the top for Chris. I think he's out of lands. He's going to go for Transgress the Mind, and he's going to see.
Ray did have a Knight of the White Orchid for value on turn 3.
He's not going to work, though.
Christopher Morgan has foiled him with the
Yeah.
I'm mana screwed plan.
Take that. All right, so Gideon's going to get exiled to Transgress. Still not a bad hand for Ray.
Right.
Do you think Ray thinks he's just playing around it?
No, I don't think so.
Do you think Ray's just sitting there like, wow, this guy's dedicated. He's not going to let me have any value.
I mean, I guess you have to consider it. Wow. Ray does have a land and declines to play it.
What?
He declined to play a land on turn 3
He played nothing.
because he was trying to set up Knight of the White Orchid for value.
All right, well, he knows now. Ultimate Price is going to kill the face-up Den Protector. Even though really that Den Protector wasn't doing much, it couldn't block or attack effectively on the board. But Ray just,
Is
I guess,
Ray
just
desperate for the colored mana for some reason? Doesn't seem like he would be.
he's got his 2 main colors. We've mentioned earlier, Randy, that he does play 3 colors, but it's kind of a technicality. He's got a few counterspells in the sideboard that they're not even main deck cards.
All right.
He's given
so
up.
He does play the 3rd land, but does not drop the Knight.
So he's got something else in mind for this turn then. This game's been a little weird so far. Chris finds no land but Duress. There's Obnixilis. We know about that.
Yeah, I think part of the reason Ray was slow rolling that Knight too is that he really wanted to get the 5th mana for Obnixilis.
Okay.
I mean, I guess. And
But- But he didn't play it this turn, and he has no play for the turn, right?
also, there's Painful Trees.
Yeah, that's a sorcery. So,
Right, but why didn't he just play it main phase?
yeah, let's play something main phase.
I mean, I guess he's getting a fetch land here. I mean, a battle land that wouldn't have come into play untapped.
Yeah, he needs that blue to make out the 3rd color. He also could just do it for 2. for the sake of mana efficiency.
Right.
Also, he could play the Knight of the White Orchid and then
Just be down. Right. He could have had.
just crack that land after.
He could have.
I mean, you're attacking for 4. He's passed on it twice.
Christopher Morgan's I'm gonna get mana screwed strategy has been brilliant here. All right, here's 4 mana. Here's Painful Truth. So this would have found the 5th mana for Obnixilis, but the duress was pretty good.
Yeah, duress stole him. Get in. Go. Oh, Chris, find a land. He did. It's a
Comes in a
shambling
play tap.
fence.
But it's a land. Time for another face-up Den Protector.
I mean, he's at 12, and you got to figure he could be at about 6, 4 by now.
I think 2 attacks with the Knight is the most Ray could have gotten.
Okay.
I think.
So at 8.
Facing 4.
And Morgan just plays his card, plays the Den Protector face up, and says it's your move. Okay, you go down to 10. Is it time?
It's time.
Always late, but worth the wait. Knight of the White Orchid is here to battle. Okay, now there is a 4th mana off the top and potentially even an untapped mana. But he's actually just going to go for Anaffenza here, which, at least on the surface, does shore things up. I believe... Did Ray have the Ruinous Path taken from him? Yes, he did. All right, but Silk Wrap is a fine answer for Anaffenza. And this is 4 damage. Chris takes it. He goes down to 6. And no follow-up play for Perez. Yeah, before Chris untaps, he's going to want to consider cracking that Flooded Strand here, as he doesn't have any basics right now on the battlefield. So he can go get a battle land here and have all of his mana untapped on his turn, ready to go. I mean, what is it, a parade of Siege Rhinos that he needs here?
Pretty much.
Just like Rhino, then kind of figure things out, see what he finds. Does find a 5th mana.
I think Anaffenza is pretty good. Because Ray's sitting on Disdainful Stroke.
Ah.
I mean, that Wingmate Rock is going to be tempting.
That's what he's going to go for, right? He's just going to attack with the
Den Protector. And Wingmate. It's a reasonable line.
It is.
I mean, he's far enough behind that you kind of have to start assuming your opponent doesn't have it.
Now, it is interesting, though, because if he plays on Anaffenza, I believe he's also got a Dromoka's Command. And
Anaffenza Dromoka's Command is the better line here.
It is, and it's a reasonable... I think that's one that he will look at as well and say, well, now I get to use up all my mana. Oh!
That sure looks
Randy,
like a raid trigger.
He had set aside 3
changed his mind.
Mana, and he changed his mind. Disdainful Stroke does not win the game on the spot for Ray, but puts him
damn close,
devilishly close to winning this. And if he does, he's going to be 12-2.
Hoping
going into that last
8.
round. Yeah, maybe with a draw into the top 8 for Ray Perez. Ray was a Rookie of the Year. And that
Soren
is lethal.
Yep, there you go.
Soren does the job, and Ray with his tokens deck is going to have that finger cross moment going into the next round. Now, he may need to battle to make it into the top 8, but he also may be able to draw him.
Right. You know who's going to be rooting for no draws?
Who's that?
Luis Scott Vargas. On 3 losses, hoping for a miracle. He's had miracle top 8s before. This one would be truly miraculous. Would require some sort of crazy nobody thinks they can draw, too many people play. Some of them could have drawn but didn't. Also requires him to win his last couple rounds, which I don't even know if that's going to happen. But I think we've done 3 losses coming in to this round anyway.
Looks like Robert Vaughn's up against it here. He's chump blocking a Siege Rhino to take no damage from it. Or to take 1 damage from it, excuse me. I didn't see that counter on there at first.
Yeah, these guys are in the same spot as Ray. It's a win and hope you can draw.
Yeah, Ray's opponent, Chris, he was 11, 1, and 1.
Yes. There are a
So-
lot of people with unintentional draws.
Yeah.
So, like, if you look at the people on 31 points who can go win-win to get to 37, there are 5 of them.
Wow.
Right.
Slow format.
And then there's 334s that can lose to join that. So there will be, there'll be it's going to be tough in this last round. You're going to have people playing to win to get to 37. You're going to have people at 36 who are drawing to get to 37. You have a lot of people trying to count using all their fingers. Can I draw? Can 8 people pass me if I draw?
So Robert's on a similar list to what Ray was playing.
Yeah.
Same matchup as before, basically.
Yeah, good point. Draw the Jess guy we saw on day 1. These top 8 matches seem to be Abzan, tokens, some Esper, some red.
Yeah.
Going to be a pretty diverse top 8. And let us not forget, our current number 1 seed is Harden Scales.
When you put it like that,
Look.
it has a ring to it.
David Phelps took an intentional draw with Valentin Mackl.
All right, here's Brent Clawson finishing things off in that match there. He had resolved a wingmate rock with Raid, and that was it. Robert Vaughan was hanging on by a thread when we came in, and he couldn't quite get the job done. He is going to get bumped down to 11 and 3, where Brent Clawson is going to improve to 12 and 2 and maybe find himself in a position to draw into the top 8 next round. He's going to have to do some math. All right.
So it's actually the opposite of the result we got on the Ray Perez table.
Right.
Esper and Abzan split.
Yep. So here's Patrick Chapin versus Daniel Duan, and
Now, no crossing your fingers and looking at the standings on this one. This one is a clean win and in.
this is a clean win.
They're both 34 points, so they only have 1 loss but each.
Yeah.
They do have a draw each, but
This is table 2.
exactly. Chapin on the Esper control list, we have seen a fair amount of in the feature match area. He keeps getting paired against interesting matchups and or interesting players. Daniel Duan is on Abzan. Where did the Jess guy go, Marshall?
You know, that is the question I keep asking myself as well.
Do we have a
as-
Jess guy in this top 8 yet? Valentin's on Bant Megamorph,
I
right?
think so.
Pretty sure Valentin Mackl is Bant. I mean, the Megamorph
he's on
deck.
blue white or white green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the Brad Nelson version.
Yep. He was playing Jess Guy last weekend, but
Sure.
Commander Pod 31 at the gathering point. Live Dom, join your Commander Pod at the gathering point now.
Gideon runs into
Scatter. Yeah. All
Yet to see anyone awaken a land with Scatter of the Seeds.
Yeah, I think Reed said he's done it twice or something, and that was over the PT and a GP. He just,
And probably all the practice in between.
yeah, it's just too risky to lose a land. Every land's so important for that deck that it's just not worth it.
Jace runs into Ultimate Price.
Right. And then Hangerback Walker runs into Patrick Chapin. Meanwhile, though, TikTok, Majoring Network's already turning a profit here on 2 counters. It's going to go to 3 potentially. No, he's cashing it in. He's cashing in right now for an utter end to get rid of the Hangerback Walker. That way he has all of his mana untapped now, though it doesn't look like he did much with it as Gideon resolved. You know, he could have had something like Ojutai's Command there. He did have something like Ojutai's Command there. He's just going to fire it off on end step. And that has his Jace ready to transform here as well. So nice sequence here for Chapin. Yeah.
Players, your round 5 pairings are now posted.
And Jace is going to lock down.
Oh,
Oh my goodness. Did
Dragon
you see
Lord
that sequence?
Silumgar, main deck, steal your Gideon, make an emblem.
Just immediately cashes it in. His Silumgar's huge. The emblem, the token is an O2. Was that a good turn?
I think that was a good turn. Flip my Jace, steal your Gideon, make an emblem, shrink your token, go.
Man, you know, what occurs to me is how much you can do with Jace without even spending mana yet. Right? Like, he looted, shrunk down a creature before he did anything that turn. That's a lot of action for one turn just in and of itself. And then he's like, here, Dragon Lord as well. Not the worst turn ever.
Wow.
So Murderous Cut took down the Dragon Lord, but Patrick Chapin adeptly knew that was a possibility and cashed in the Gideon immediately. Even though he's running very few creatures in the deck, he just basically used it to kill a Planeswalker and even give himself a little bit of an edge.
I mean, that's the dream. That's why you play Dragonlord Silumgar, is to steal Gideon and make an emblem.
It was great.
It's kind of funny how Gideon replacing Elspeth has just changed which Silumgar the control decks want to play.
Oh, yeah, weird. That is true.
Used
They
to
both
be-
match up.
Used to be you want a Drifting Death.
Yeah.
Now you want the Dragonlord.
I like this world better. The Dragon Lord Silumgar just is so much more impactful and sweet. Also, sometimes you can just randomly get, somebody's Ugin or whatever.
Oh, yeah. And a Fenza for Daniel Duan. Murderous Cut.
Yeah, cut down on a Fenza. And, well, we are, kind of in the middle of game 2 here. It does look very much like Patrick Chapin's going to be able to take this thing down. By the way, Jace is on 10.
Yep.
That was a scatter for the presumably Den Protector there. Jace ticks up to 11. This one goes to 11. And there's a Siege Rhino, which is going to get immediately countered. And while he's at it, he's going to go ahead and just show off a little ultimate price of the token that had never actually attacked. And it's time to beat down, and this actually is even a quicker clock as it's 3 thanks to the emblem. And here's Dig Through Time. Wow, Chapin is just wrecking right now.
There is a Siege Rhino on the stack. This is Dig as a response to Siege Rhino.
It's just so rough for his opponent. Just Daniel can't do anything. I mean, even the Siege Rhino doesn't do much. Well, now it's going to do nothing.
Search of Righteousness pointed at it, right? As a response.
But it does have to be attacking there, right?
Negate got the
Okay.
Tremoka's command as a response.
Yeah, I
now
just
there's
didn't
a new
see. I
one.
just didn't see it hit combat there. Did he block
I
something?
think he announced.
He announced. He just hadn't turned it sideways. Okay, fair enough. And now Abzan Charm's actually able to take out Shambling Vents there, which is not normally able to do. Chapin's got value off of Jace, who was up to 11, now down to 6. Back up to 7. Dragonlord Silumgar as a beater.
Sometimes you do what you got to do.
Yeah?
Just is so many cards at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Chapin is so in full control, and at some point, Daniel's going to give it up, and looks like it was right then. So let's go to game 2. Chapin up a game now. Randy, you said this is a winning in for top 8.
Yep.
Both players on 34 match points, which means that a win would put them at 37, which is good for top 8 here. So Chapin's actually just a game away from the top 8 of this Grand Prix. In old school Chapin fashion now, by the way. There were a number of years when I first started watching coverage where he played control almost exclusively. And then he kind of widened out a bit and started adopting some of the more grindy mid-range decks and had a lot of success, including winning the Pro Tour.
You know what he played in his first Pro Tour top 8?
What's that?
Ball Lightnings.
What? Chapin?
He played a Sly deck. Pro Tour Dallas.
Chapin
Dallas.
played Ball Lightning.
Ball Lightning.
I can't even picture it. That's just not... That's the one thing I've never seen him play, is red like that. I think he would if he thought it was that much better than the field, but it's certainly not his preference. But yeah, he has shown a really strong ability to adapt. Sometimes you kind of get stuck in your rut, and it's your thing, and you're going to do it, and that's it. And he showed that he's got the flexibility to change that, and I thought that was really impressive. And also he experienced a lot of success as a result of it. All right, well, things aren't getting any better here for Daniel in game 2 as he's already facing down transform Jace once again. Going to get in there for one with the Den Protector follow-up with a Siege Rhino. Looks like it's going to get commanded. It does. Oh, wow,
And
look at
a
this
dig.
turn. My goodness. Ojutai's command, counter that, draw a card, dig through time. May I take my turn now?
Shrink your Den Protector to 1 power.
Goodness.
All right. Soren makes a vampire. It's not nothing.
Soren gets exiled. Vampire's still there.
Why did 1 power Den Protector not attack Jace? Monastery Mentor in from the sideboard.
Here's the sideboard plan. We've seen this work for Chapin before. The last time we had him in the feature match area, we saw 6 monk tokens alongside that Monastery Mentor.
Yeah, he definitely had a lot of concerns about the draws that you wind up with inevitably when you play an Esper deck, and just wasn't sure that he could play it fast enough. Just not that he plays slow, but the deck is so inherently slow. But then he gave a lot of credit to Paul Rietzel for suggesting Monastery Mentor in the sideboard. He said, yeah, Paul broke it. No, he didn't play it, but he did break it. Felt like, yeah, that sideboard plan, in Patrick's opinion, just put this deck over the top.
All right, so it looks like that was ultimate price to take down the Den Protector. And,
Monks.
oh, that was a horribly awry
Nice.
that he used to counter. That was pretty sweet. And yes, look at the monk just piling up over there now.
We have a new Jace. Replacing the old Jace.
Yeah, you can see why this is good, right? I mean, now he's got 4 monks on the battlefield, but even if the Monastery Mentor dies at this point, he's still just in a dominant position. And Daniel's not going to have an answer for 3 separate 1/1 monks, right? Like, this is post-board against a control deck.
Daniel can make 2/2s for 4 mana each. Patrick can make, 2/2, 3/3 sized creatures for free.
For free.
Just by doing other things. Do
No.
not like Mastery of the Unseen in this
Is this a little
matchup.
too slow, you think? Let's see. So that's monk number 6. So he's tied his current coverage record. And right when we come back to the match in real time, it is finished. Patrick Chapin wins.
Wow.
He's going to be in our top 8 with a control deck.
Wow.
Welcome to 2011. This is going to be great. That will do it here for round 14 from Indianapolis.